Our third RVA sees Angel Tactics director Shigeyuki Miya once again directing, with Stolen Lupin writer Toshimichi Okawa once again returning to writing duties. Our leading lady is Yukiko, likely named for Yukiko Nikaido, Fujiko's Series 1 actress, voiced by Aya Hirano. Fire Treasure makes a return as the opening and ending themes. A man named Yasuo, likely named for Yasuo Yamada, stares over a bridge. He overhears a news report stating that Lupin stole a pair of rings, also noting he was wearing green, as he looks at a ring. Meeting with his girlfriend, a reporter named Yukiko, they drive to his place, but she leaves for work as soon as they get there. Meanwhile, Jigen meets with the green-clad Lupin, who's researching a diamond called the Ice Cube, likely another gift for Fujiko. At a police meeting dealing with several Lupin sightings, Chief Katayama assigns Officer Mikami to meet with Zenigata. Meanwhile, another Lupin gets caught while stealing from a shop. Various Lupins from around the world get wind of this and aren't pleased at one of them getting brought in for something so mundane. While the shoplifter's interviewed, they all congregate at Shinjuku, running into a police blockade. Despite being surrounded, they still break through. Unfortunately, the shoplifter has already been broken out. The shoplifter and his rescuer run into another blockade, but perform a car stunt to escape. The rest of the impersonators catch up and they hide out in a warehouse. Most of the discussion is arguing about how one could get caught for shoplifting, as well as who looks the most like Lupin and how to spell Lupin correctly, a nod to one of the English ways of getting around the LeBlanc situation. Yukiko is among the press that interviews Zenigata about the situation, who notes there have been several impersonators over the years, but he knows there's only one Lupin. Speaking of which, he's watching the report play out. Jigen watches as the impersonators are arrested and brought in. Oddly enough, the only ones to escape are the shoplifter and his partner. Yasuo is also having some Lupin-related flashes, dreaming of Fujiko despite apparently not knowing her. Aboard a plane, a man named Logan is discussing the Ice Cube and how it'll be great for the future. The Green Lupin then contacts him, telling him he's planning to steal it. Logan panics and contacts another man, Kusakabe, over fears that info on the Ice Cube has leaked. Kusakabe takes measures to make sure nothing else comes out, by blowing up Logan's plane. At the last second, someone's ejected out, however. Yasuo watches Yukiko reporting on the plane crash. His boss asks him about a certain woman, but he's disappeared. The Green Lupin searches the crash site with Jigen, finding a boy and a laptop. The boy is Logan's son Sam, who was experimented on to transfer Logan's mind over and escape inoperable cancer. Downloading information on the Ice Cube to a memory stick, the Green Lupin's held up by another one wearing red. Taking the memory stick, this Lupin, the real deal, reunites with Jigen and Goemon, who haven't seen much of him lately. Lupin taunts the green one to come and take it back if he wants to be Lupin so badly. The bridge then raises, separating the two. The laptop falls away, hitting Sam as it goes. The Green Lupin manages to grab him at the last second and pull him to safety. He steps out to confront Lupin as the police surround them. Zenigata watches, noting the real Lupin's there, but he's not sure which one's which. The confrontation's cut short when a missile strikes the bridge, killing Sam in the process. As the Green Lupin falls, he's revealed to be Yasuo, flashing back to when he first started impersonating Lupin. While working at a restaurant, he spots a green jacket and comments on liking the colour. He also displays a talent for pickpocketing. One such pickpocketing incident leads him to acquiring a gun, more specifically a Walther P38. He decides to take it to the next level and dresses as Lupin. His exploits lead to him being able to get a ring for Yukiko, likely one of the two stolen rings mentioned at the beginning. Zenigata learns the missile strike was courtesy of a Black Ops civilian army known as the Nighthawks, realising how much things have changed since he first transferred to Interpol. A still unconscious Yasuo is pulled out of the bay before the police can find him. Lupin also survived despite reports to the contrary, realising that the ones behind the missile attack were also behind the plane crash. Jigen works on accessing the ice cube info, but he can't crack the code. He drags Lupin to help, but Lupin realises the memory sticks are fake, complimenting his doppelganger. Yasuo has another dream, this time about his ailing grandmother, but morphs into another Fujiko fantasy. When he wakes up, he discovers she was the one to rescue him. Calling him Lupin, she suggests a team up to steal the ice cube, to which he embraces the idea as a heist like that would be a step towards becoming the real Lupin. Yukiko's gone on a search for information on Lupin. Her first source tells her that Lupin's a complete mystery, and the name's more a representation of freedom than anything. Her search then takes her to Zenigata, as he'd know more about Lupin than anyone. She's initially turned away by Mikami, but Zenigata says it's fine and divulges what he knows, suspecting that even the name Lupin III may be a fabrication. Yukiko tells him she can't love a man with the name Lupin, but vows to continue researching so long as Zenigata continues his pursuit to arrest him. Thanks to a tip that Lupin's threat to Logan was discovered, Zenigata heads to the Nighthawks building, but Yukiko's almost shot when she tries to follow. Yasuo infiltrates as a guard, pretending to catch Fujiko and knocking out some security. Zenigata approaches Kusakabe, wanting to learn more about the ice cube. Despite Kusakabe's initial claims not to know anything about it, he agrees to show it to Zenigata when he tells him he found the laptop and pulled data from the hard drive. The shoplifter and his partner discuss what to do with themselves, with the latter deciding to hang up his Lupin jacket. The shoplifter, now sporting a Nabishin hairstyle, approaches his grandfather hoping to make one more big gesture. As Zenigata's shown the way to the ice cube, Lupin also listens in from his car, currently suspended by Blimp. Jigen wonders if this is meant to be some kind of test for Yasuo, lowering Lupin as he crashes into the Nighthawks building. Zenigata arrives at the cold storage for the ice cube as Yasuo and Fujiko follow and watch. Fujiko asks to take it for herself, which Yasuo's fine with as long as he gets the Lupin name. Alarms start blaring as the ice cube's container is opened, so Yasuo takes the opportunity to grab it. Lupin appears and holds him up, but Yasuo gets behind him. Lupin aims at the ice cube as Kusakabe yells out the truth about it, that it's a chunk of specially processed plutonium. Kusakabe's words are still being broadcast to Jigen, so he takes his leave. A helicopter pilot suddenly goes crazy and then attacks him. Jigen jumps aboard and attacks back, but spots Goemon tied up inside. Thrown off, Jigen fires back at the helicopter as he lands in the Nighthawks building himself. On top of that, Fujiko's disappeared while Kusakabe explains how Logan helped in the ice cube's development. Goemon's ropes have burned away, and he makes short work of what's left of the helicopter. He and Jigen then unmask the pilot, revealing him as another Lupin impersonator. The shoplifter watches Yukiko report on the ice cube situation. He then reveals that its grand gesture is launching a giant robot. Yasuo makes off with the ice cube, but Zenigata pulls his gun on him, something he embraces as it means Zenigata acknowledges him as Lupin. Yukiko spots everything happening and realises the truth about Yasuo. The robot swoops in and allows Yasuo to escape. Before he does, Lupin shoots him with a green dye. Talking with Katayama, Zenigata learns the ice cube was fake, as Logan may have funded it, but he couldn't get a working prototype ready in the time needed. Katayama wonders if the future will lead to further corruption as grudges fester, but Zenigata's only interested in arresting Lupin out of duty rather than grudge. Lupin and Yasuo meet on a rooftop, having both bandaged their faces. They do battle as the police watch below. A gunshot's heard and one of them falls as the roof explodes, though it's not clear who the victor was as their jackets were burned away. The duel is revealed to be down to the shoplifter, who delivered calling cards to both of them. To apply the calling cards are due to Fujiko and Jigen working with the Lupin informant. Lupin escaped Zenigata's captivity despite being injured, and Yasuo only bandaged himself due to being unable to remove the paint. Yasuo meets with his grandmother, who wishes him luck, before heading off. Cutting back to the present, we see a Lupin in red who may be the real thing or Yasuo, given the presence of his ring. Or maybe this is a Kanichi or Toshio. Who knows at this point? The ideas are here, but the execution's kind of a mess. For one thing, while I like the whole Lupin Impersonators thing, I think they should have just been kept to the opening act and written out once they'd all been arrested, barring Yasuo as the true successor. The identity crisis he was having was a good concept, but maybe could have been explored a bit more. Perhaps start his montage with the pickpocketing and show him performing bigger heists, maybe even with jigging. Also not sure him mentioning wanting Lupin's name was needed, as Lupin himself has mentioned over the years that it's all about the hunt for the treasure for him. Some stuff feels like weird for the sake of weird, such as the giant robot. It ties the shoplifter back into the plot, I suppose, but as I said, that was not really much of a factor after the opening act. The other thing was Logan and his son and the whole brain transplant thing. I suppose him being killed off works fine, but it just feels like it goes nowhere. Not really helped by the fact that he wasn't on screen for very long. Should have just stuck to the laptop being the key, honestly. There are positives here, of course. I do appreciate all the nods to the Lupin art styles seen over the years, for example. Not to mention references to stuff like the wall run or tripping over his car like in the Series 2 eye catch. The art shift in the final duel to resemble Monkey Punch's manga pages was also a nice visual. I have to appreciate the old Lupin rule that if something's got the potential to be nuclear fuel, then it's nuclear fuel too. Yuji Ono's on point as ever too, and I like the use of various renditions of the Lupin theme. In all, a nice celebration of Lupin in some aspects, but the parts are mostly better than the whole. Next time, Lupin finds a magic lamp and tries to recover a sweet lost night. Until then.